Let's keep this let's keep this one short. Let's keep it down to the bare minimum because it's really not very hard to figure out what's wrong with Hollywood. We've been talking about it now here on this channel for 4 years, and there are other channels that I've known and loved for much longer than that have been doing the same thing, analyzing the problems that has basically made it so Hollywood is burning. And I don't say that lightly. There's some big problems in productions. There aren't very many, and even the reality television shows are being knocked back into place. Some place that they had never existed before prior to, well, probably Survivor. There's not that many of those either. Productions are way down. The number of shooting days that are happening in California have fallen. And, well, some of the other locations around the world where productions are put together have seen a decrease as well. But that's not the main issue. And, I mean, as much as I'd like to say I'm very sorry to my friends that work in the industry, because I am, but you're fighting your own studios. Those are the people that are doing this to you. Let's take a look at some very bad decision making. And, of course, it's all seemingly related to each other. If you take a look here, you've got, my website, of course, beachpunk.us, which you should go check out, buy some amazing gear like the hat that I wear and many of the other things, from mugs to water bottles to sandals to shoes to bags, purses, carrying shopping things. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff there. Go check it out. Check out the latest beanie. That thing's awesome. And, some of our newer Knuff product, if you're interested. Anyway, back to what this is. It's not just Furiosa that is causing Hollywood to burn. No, it's not. It's the fact that it failed so spectacularly. And if you don't think it's failed, well, wait, because 5 weeks from now it'll be on streaming and you'll realize that it didn't make $1. And one of the ways that they hide the failures is to actually buy these things for themselves, for their own streaming services, which really doesn't do anything other than move pocket money from one pocket to the other. In the case of Warner Brothers and other studios, they need things that succeed. This one is not going to do it. And I feel bad. This film may have cost Village Road Show's CEO his job. The worst box office in over 40 years, says Bounding into Comics. Well, probably, but probably far worse because we weren't adjusting for number of butts and seats nor inflation. So the opportunity for way more money was there and they didn't take advantage. But again, from that Park Place, Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga's box office serves as a stark warning for films that are coming up in the future. Well, we had other warning shots, and we'll get to those in just a moment, but it's almost as if the audience is just put up a big not interested sign. That's probably the best way to say it. When you look at Screen Rant, they try to make a novel explanation that is actually laughable about what the heck happened to Mad Max, but it's not just this prequel. First of all, this is a prequel to a prequel, which is a double prequel, but regardless, that maybe this character wasn't as compelling as you thought, or perhaps the audience has grown tired of seeing characters that aren't the characters that they would like to see in the properties that they should see them in. You don't want to make your primary character second fiddle like you did in Fury Road, or non-existent other than a brief cameo from behind in a prequel to that prequel. I think the audience has had enough, and this is just one of the reasons that we'll cite. But the other reason is the moviegoers don't trust you anymore, studios. Look at this. Fall Guy from Fast Company, this article says, is now streaming after just 17 days in theaters. And I think we've arrived at our problem. Streaming. It doesn't matter if it's a summer blockbuster. It doesn't matter if it's a Christmas movie. It doesn't matter when a film comes out. It matters if it's scarce, if it's only available in one location. And in the case of this particular set of films, you could get these almost anywhere, if not anywhere. You just had to wait. Streaming has absolutely destroyed the theatrical model, but it's also destroyed the television model and pay TV model and the digital distribution model. You've basically limited all of your opportunities to make money just to prop up these, well, predictably future failures, if you Go back and look at some of my early content, and maybe over at Midnight's Edge, and maybe Gary over at Nerdrotic, and maybe check out what Valiant Renegade said when he started talking about this 3 years ago. We all said the same thing. We've all said the same thing. You are cannibalizing your profitability, and it's going to bite you in the, box office. But 17 days is ridiculous, and I have a feeling that this is going to be an illness that the studios are stuck with for a long time. You're still going to have successful films out there. I would say Deadpool and Wolverine will be successful, profitable. Well, we'll discuss that when that becomes a discussion. But as far as other things in the future, like Despicable Me 4, or perhaps even Disney's late year offering that will arrive in theaters that will likely receive a lot of rejection, much like their 20th century product, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. If things aren't scarce or they're easily available, or it just requires an extra week or two of waiting, I think you're going to see film flops more frequently, which is a big problem for all of Hollywood, and in fact, the entire movie-making industry. Just compare everything, as has been suggested before by myself and others, just compare everything to Godzilla Minus One, its budget versus its success, and just how profitable it became on so little money spent to make it. This is what Hollywood needs again, but hey, honestly, and this is from the LA Times, this is a year ago, saying, honey, we blew up the Hollywood business model. Saying basically the same things that I've been saying for 4 years, and they did it a year ago. So they caught up with us 3 years ago, but nobody listened. Hollywood is burning. The question is, does it deserve it? You can scroll through this article again. This one is actually available for free over on the LA Times, and find out that the pivot to profitability for the streaming services is because they weren't making profits anywhere else. They destroyed everything, including their very lucrative pay cable channels, things like HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, Flix, all these other elements that used to make a ton of money, including Stars, AMC. These were places to find things. Now, you have streaming services. Now, one of the other problems with streaming services that nobody wants to talk about or tell you is that it actually makes it easier for things to make it to illegitimate locations if you happen to be a pirate and are willing to go sailing into various bays. Well, I wouldn't suggest doing that. And if you do, make sure you have some protection. And if you're curious about where you can get that, well, check out some of the Midnight's Edge videos, because I think you'll figure it out. Ultimately, I'm not certain that there's any way back at this point for Hollywood, unless they were to pivot like a month or two ago. This is going to be the worst box office ever in the history of cinema, and I have a feeling that this year could put a lot of people out of business and even more people out of work. I don't think the strikes were worth it, and I really don't think the investment in streaming was a good plan. But I guess it remains to be seen. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below, and as always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya.